Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. Look, there, CEOs, there is something you need to be doing to keep inflation from crushing your profits. Inflation requires a shift. Most of your people have not worked in an high inflation environment, right? This is something we haven't seen since the 1970s. This is one of the things that you need to be doing to keep inflation from just crushing your profits. You need to be working with, ready for this, your human resources group, your sales team to get priorities set in order to have your salespeople focused on getting the cash up front, no long terms, re-incent, right? So one, no long term uh, credit, minimize that. Get the cash up front because every minute that you're waiting for that payment, you're waiting for that cash to hit your account from that customer, it's less, right? The real value of that money is going down. So your profits are getting eaten up by that clock ticking. It's going tick, tick, tick. Loss, loss, loss. That profit margin gets smaller every time that clock ticks. So, and here's the second part of that. Align your incentives with that. What do your current incentives look like? When I say incentives, you know what I mean, right? We're talking about how do you reward your sales team? What are their bonuses, their spiffs, their performance bumps that they get for the sales that they're doing? How does that pay out? Reward them so that your incentives line up with the policy. Policy needs to be cash first. Priority goes to upfront cash clients and customers. Second needs to be your incentive system needs to line that up because all too often to see that where we implement a policy, CEO takes a look at what's going on. Why hasn't this happened? Dig into it. Things like incentives, that second thing there, aren't lined up with it. They're still being incentivized and they're getting the same or better for a sale that is extended out through time. You need to make sure that those incentives are lined up. And third, along with HR, taking a look at what are the other things in policy and procedure that are misaligned with that need to get cash now, right? You need to lock down your cash, you need to bring the cash in as fast as possible. So those are just one quick tip, 3 parts on something to do to keep inflation from crushing your profits. There's a lot more needs to be done, right? I understand there's a lot of moving parts in your company. You get 25, 250 people. It's a lot of moving parts. A lot of things need to be done. That's one of the priorities and imperative right now is like lock down that cash. We're beginning an inflationary cycle. It's going to last 3 to 5 years. Get on it now. This is just a brief tip. Here's something else, something to consider on this day in 1975, something like that. Microsoft was founded on this day when was that? Let's take a look. And this is courtesy of onthisday.com, 1975. Paul Allen, Bill Gates. There's a young Paul Allen and Bill Gates when they founded Microsoft in 1975. So here's something to consider, and we'll talk more about this in a soon to upcoming episode. They did not start writing operating systems, right? They started Microsoft to write basic code, to distribute basic code for, let's see, what was it? The 8800, Altair 8800. Remember that computer? Probably not. I don't remember the computer. I remember the brand and the name, but never worked with one myself. And that goes back into the 1970s. So they were distributing BASIC, the programming language BASIC, specifically for Altair 8800 computers. Look where they shifted to. And we'll talk more about that. That's a great thing to consider, that Microsoft shift. There's a lot of shifts and evolutions in companies that have been enduring, that have grown during tough times. The 70s, not a great time to start a business. It's when Microsoft started, along with several other companies. We'll talk about that more in the future. Just a quick tip for today. I'm Wolf. Thanks for being part of Wolf's Watch, and I will see you on the trail.